Hello, I'm Anne Wardell, the administrator of the Llewellyn Bell Restoration Fund, the LEBRF for short. I think we've all missed the sound of the bells during the COVID-19 lockdown. Imagine what it would be like if little by little the bell towers throughout the Salisbury Guild became silent forever as their bells fell into disrepair. The LEBRF wants to make sure that this doesn't happen. The LEBRF is a fund run by Salisbury Guild ringers for bell restoration and preservation work in towers within the Salisbury Guild. And we need your help so that the heritage art of bell ringing can survive and thrive for future generations of ringers. A little bit of background. The LEBRF is a charitable fund created back in 1956, which is administered by a team of volunteer trustees drawn from each branch in the Salisbury Guild. The fund makes grants towards the restoration and augmentation of church bells, only in the Diocese of Salisbury. We try to support eligible projects with a grant of around 10% of the total project cost, and over the last 5 years we've paid out grants totalling over £46,000. Currently, there are 297 rings of bells in churches in the Diocese of Salisbury, and of these, sadly, 45 are unringable. But a heartwarming story from South Wraxall shows us that they can be saved, and how the LEBRF is helping. The 6 bells in St James's Church, South Wraxall, are a rare example of the work of Abraham Bilby. Although these bells were well used in previous centuries, they've never been heard in living memory. So in 2019, the villagers decided to do something about this before it was too late. Project lead Christopher Thornhill applied to the LEBRF for a grant during the early planning stage of the project. And he told us that getting the LEBRF grant helped to persuade his PCC that such a large bell project was feasible, because grants are available to support this type of work. Not only that, the LEBRF volunteers have been able to advise them regarding other sources of grants and to offer them some practical tips for running a bell restoration project. Now, South Wraxall are well on their way, raising the necessary money, gaining approvals and involving local people who they hope will form a new band of ringers for the village. The South Wraxall project is a most heartwarming example of bringing heritage back to life. When these bells ring again, it will be the first time that anyone currently living will have heard them. What a wonderful legacy to share with the community for the future. And the LEBRF grant was the funding that helped kickstart this. Sadly, the COVID-19 lockdown has meant that Guild events planned over the last year have had to be cancelled, including the events to raise money for the LEBRF, which, together with reduced interest rates on funds invested, will impact on money available for future grants to the towers in the Salisbury Guild. We need your help, please, to make sure that we can continue with our aim of giving grants to all eligible bells projects in our Guild going forwards. So, how can you support your LEBRF? There are 3 main ways, all boosted by gift aid from the government if you are a taxpayer. 1. You can donate to the LEBRF directly through Just Giving. 2. You can donate to the LEBRF via your tower or branch when you pay your annual subs. And 3. You can follow the lead of Eric Hitchens, who decided to do a walking challenge to commemorate his 90th birthday last year and ended up raising over £2,000 via Just Giving donations. Now, what challenge could you set yourself in 2021 and also raise much needed money for the LEBRF to invest in bell restoration projects in our Salisbury Guild? And finally, don't forget to apply for a grant from your LEBRF if you're planning a bells project. The money in the fund only realises its value when it's being used, rather than being stuck in a bank. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support.